Is there something notably different about the team and the way it carries itself, in your opinion, this week in DC?
I don't think so. I think it's business as usual. I don't think much has changed for our team, and it's a challenge. We don't want it to change. We talk about the fact that we want to continue to push ourselves every day. We also know that it gets harder from here. Teams are getting better, and right away, this team we're going to play tomorrow night is a team that's is getting better results. They've actually been a team that's been real hard to play against for us all year, and they just seem to just be a bounce here or there away from being on the right side of games. And I think they showed that last weekend. But there's a lot of good teams in the league, and some of which we haven't seen yet. And there's a lot of hockey left to be played, so a lot of work to be done.
Justin was just saying he feels like even as a team, despite how well you're playing, haven't played to maybe the highest level of their ability. Do you see that as well? Is there still room?
Yeah, we think there's room to grow. I think there's room to grow a lot of areas at even strength. Our power play can get much better. Our penalty kill has been outstanding, and I don't know that we can expect a lot more there, but still want to make sure it stays that way. We want to keep it at a high standard. Yeah, there's a lot we can do better. There's games that we didn't deserve to win, and our goaltending has been real strong, and we've won those games. And there's others, we've been real good right from start to finish, and those we want to have as the standard going forward.
Speaking of your goaltender, is there something you've noticed that's specifically different about Garrett, whether it's physically, mentally this season than maybe you saw last season?
Well, I think he's just really matured year over year while he's been here. This year, I think he's put together the whole package. He's here early. He's putting in a lot of work to take care of his body, both in being in good shape and also staying healthy. So he's really working at it, and our staff has done a great job with him on that. And then he's put in the work to do it day after day. So the biggest thing has been able to do it consistently. And then as a result, he's playing consistently. We're getting him in the net. He's getting the starts. He hasn't had any interruptions, and he's just rolling along. He's been a great goalie in this league, but he's had interruptions to his season almost every year that I've been here. And this year he hasn't had that, and he's proving that he's top of the class in the league.
Similarly with Kapanen, you've had him for a few years now. Highs and lows with him, injuries and otherwise, but what stands out about him in terms of his game changes for you now?
Well, he's a lot stronger here now. You can see it in his body just to see the way that he's matured. He's for a guy like him, that's had the taste of being in the NHL. He's right there. He's done well when he's been there. He's played in big hockey games. He's has to fight that every day in terms of continuing to push himself and challenge himself to be great here, and that's hard for a young player. One of the interesting things, and we had this talk as a staff recently, is you forget how young Kasperi Kapanen is. You compare him, we look at a guy like Adam Brooks, who's coming out of a dominant junior year and is trying to transition into here. Well, he and Kapanen are the same age, and Cappy's dominant player at our level, and it's in his third year with us, so he's got some great experience, and that's why he's an NHL player that's ready to go whenever the opportunity presents itself. We need to make sure we can help Cappy continue to maximize his time here.
How well has Timothy Liljegren adapted to the American Hockey League?
I think he's done a nice job. He obviously got interrupted by the injury, and that stops some momentum for sure, but we think he's come back and played well since then. But again, here's a young player that has some experience playing in a very good league in Sweden, so he's used to playing against men, and that shows. He's a very confident guy with the puck, and at times he also shows that he's got to continue to evolve and develop, both physically and in terms of adjusting to the ice and the style of play over here, but he's been a very productive player for us in terms of the way he moves the puck, and he's really learning some of the details defensively that we're trying to teach him. He's been able to show that he can adapt to make those changes quickly, so we've been real happy with him.
What was the thinking in terms of pairing him with Travis? What went into that decision?
Just the fact, that we thought the way that Lily moves the puck, it's a good pair because you got two guys, a right and a left shot, that move around the ice very well, both with and without the puck. Derms is a guy that plays very well defensively, knows our structure and system, and he talks a lot. He's vocal. So despite only being his second year, that would help with Philly. They played together starting in rookie tournament, so they had an early introduction. And we've moved things around a little bit here and there with different lineup changes and what have you. But we're comfortable with that, and we like how everything else falls into place underneath that as well.
One of the things he mentioned in the summer was he wanted to pick his spots better, make less high-risk plays. Have you noticed his decision-making has improved?
I'm sorry, was that Derms or for Lily?
Yeah.
I think he's picking his spots well. He's making plays. At times, you can see that he second guesses or just maybe gets caught up in the fact that there's not as much time and space here as he's accustomed to having. But he's made a lot of really high-end plays in tight spaces and found options and escaped pressure. A lot of really good signs that, to be a good, solid puck-moving offensive defenseman that can also defend well.
One of the things Mike Babcock said last week talking about Cappy was that when he first sends somebody down, they only really hear that they're going down. There's no message that sinks in right away. When you get those guys, do you give them a little extra kind of leeway to readjust, or do you deal with them more hands-on at first?
Well, we try to deal with each situation as it comes. In Cappy's case, we gave him some breathing room when he came back down here this most recent time. In previous years or previous occasions, you spend time and you talk with them about it. But, I've been in that position as a player, and I think, Babs is correct in that you hear you're going down, that's about it. You're unhappy about that, especially when it's gone well. When you've been up there, you're not necessarily expecting it or you feel like you belong. I think Cappy's in that situation here now, and he's transitioning back to playing every day and being a part of this program. We want to continue to work with him as a staff. We're in this with him. We want to keep him maximizing his time here and make sure that he continues to be ready.
Logan might get
the last few games, he just really looks a lot stronger on his. It's not that he was, for a guy that's kind of a little undersized, he looks pretty strong. He's as strong as an ox, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's gotten stronger. I think he's been strong and fit. And in fact, he's if anything, over his year with us, year and a bit now, he's changed his body a little bit. He's actually cut down in weight and is a little less bulky, but is still extremely strong and is faster, I think, now with the body type that he has. But no, he's an undersized guy for sure, but he's a guy that could get real big and strong quickly, so he's got to really manage that, and I think he's done a nice job. But strength has never been an issue for him. I think now he's just so much more comfortable in the league and in just around the whole environment here that he's just going out and playing and showing what he's capable of.
Logan might get an opportunity to go play for Sweden at World Juniors. What does that experience do for a young player?
Well, we've seen that here with Kapanen and Nylander in the past, and that event is a special event. It's a great opportunity to go back and play with your own age group and things like that, and players that you've grown up with and grown up playing against. We haven't talked about that here. That's going to be a decision that'll be out of my hands, much like the previous years. But I know for any young player who gets a chance to participate in that event, it's a big moment.